I'll give you an example. I just had an executive at a company where they had done a big media campaign, and it was quite involved. And there was a young person, like the youngest member on this design team, after this was all presented, came into, not his boss, but his boss's boss's boss, and said, I'd like to give you a little feedback. Now, if you're that young person, you might think, hats off. If you're the boss, you might think, oh my gosh, what did you just do? And of course, the person was very respectful and said, yes, of course, I'd love your feedback. While inside, it's like, no, I'd really like to wring your little neck is what I'd like to do. But he took it. So, but a lot of young people, my two sons included, have been raised with a speak up. Get your, voice what's on your mind. Move quickly. There are lots of opportunities. Grab them. And it was different. It was different than my day. Candy and I were joking about this. Those kids today. When, and I'm a boomer, obviously, or maybe not. But I'm a boomer. And it was difficult for me because I came from such a crazy background. But you worked hard and you went and got a job. And if you were any good at it, you kept it. Or you went somewhere and got a better one. But it was a pretty well-defined pathway where there is less of that in today's world. It's more chaotic. There's just more churn, I think. There's a level of skepticism about young leaders where there wasn't. It was well-defined in the era where I came up, where you're young, you pay your dues, you work hard, and you move slowly up the ladder. And that's kind of, anybody in that same boat? That's sort of what we expected. The expectations have changed. So in that way, I think it's a different world for millennials. And the ones who can, like the fellow that went in and said, I'd like to give you some feedback, maybe, I don't know if he would have done this, but he might have mentioned to his boss, hey, I'd like to tell Joe, a couple of things that I thought about it. And that boss may or may not have said, just ask for permission or couch it this way or go for it or whatever. It would have been respectful, not that there's a chain of command that's written in stone anymore, but it probably would have been thoughtful. Not to embarrass your immediate supervisor by saying, hey, I'm going to go do this thing, and just not thinking about it. So there are lots of nuances there are lots more subtleties, I think, today. Anybody agree with that? It's a little bit trickier